Good morning, students. Today I am going to discuss Lake Isle at Innisfree by William Butler Yeats, a class 9 poem with you. It is a very beautiful poem written by, as I told you, William Butler Yeats. Now, as you know, William Butler Yeats is a poet from Ireland. Now, when he was staying in London in his childhood, then not in his childhood but in his adulthood, then he started recollecting memories of days spent in Innisfree in his childhood, and the result was this poem. So he has spent his childhood, a significant period of his childhood at Innisfree. What is Innisfree? What was Innisfree? Innisfree was an island in County Sligo in Ireland. It is a very estranged island, a greeny and watery landscape which will soothe your soul and touch your heart in Ireland. And this poet, he has spent a significant period of his childhood in Ireland, in Innisfree. When he was spending his days in London as an adult, the memories of Innisfree flashed across his inward eye, like it happened in the case of William Wordsworth. If you remember the last stanza of Daffodils, written by William Wordsworth. Oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash across my inward eye, and they are my bliss of solitude. So that same thing is happening to William Butler Yeats. And the result is this poem. This poem was first published in The Natural Observer in 1890. Okay. So now we go straight to the poem without wasting time. I will arise and go now, and go to Innisfree, and a small cabin built there of clay and wattles made. 9 bin rows will I have there, a hive for the honeybee, and live alone in the bee-loud glade. And I shall have some peace there, for peace comes dropping slow, dropping from the vales of the morning to where the cricket sings. There midnight is all a glimmer, and noon a purple glow, an evening full of linnets' wings. I will arise and go now, for always, night and day, I hear lake water lapping with low sounds by the shore. While I stand on the roadway or on the pavement's grey, I hear it in the deep heart's core. It's a beautiful poem. Now let me make you understand the poem stanza by stanza, line by line, expression by expression. I will arise and go now. Now arise and go now. The poet here longs to leave the busy life of the city, the urban life. The urban life which is characterized by a busy schedule, by technological advancement. The poet longs to leave this city life and surrender or succumb to the serene or peaceful or tranquil embrace of nature. EMBRACE, embrace of nature. The poet does not approve the technologically advanced modern life in the city. He rather wants to become one with nature. He wants to go to Innisfree, this estranged small island in Ireland, and revive his long lost days of childhood. Now, arise and go now. This phrase you will find in the King James Version of Bible. Yeats was a Protestant. You know there are two segments, the Catholic and the Protestant. So Yeats was a Protestant. So it is very obvious that he was reading the King James Version of Bible. And there we have this phrase, arise and go. So we see the spiritual annotation as well. We will see that we will see that more, we will feel that more as we move on. And a small cabin built of clay and wattles made. So he wants to build a small hut, not a building made of bricks and cement, but a small hut made of clay, wet mud. And wattles is twisted stick. Wattle is twisted stick. So you see, you can almost visualize, you can almost imagine a rural picture, the picture of a village. He wants to surrender to the rural landscape. He wants to surrender to the bliss of nature, BLISS, the peaceful embrace of nature. 9 bean rows will I have there, and a hive for the honeybee. So, what will I eat? How will I survive myself? So, I will have 9 bean rows from where I will obtain my food, and I will also obtain the honey from the beehive. Please note the use of the word I will have there. There. So, this kind of an existence, far from the madding crowd, is from Thomas Hardy's work. So, this word there has a significance. So, this kind of an existence is not possible here, it is only possible there, far from the madding crowd in the lap of nature. It is not possible to embrace nature, to surrender to nature, to enjoy a peaceful life in the lap of nature here in this city. And I will live alone in the bee loud glade. What is a glade? A clear open space. And what is a bee loud glade? It is full of the buzzing sound of the bees. In Bengali, ভ্রমরের গুঞ্জনে মুখরিত. So it is full of the buzzing sound of the bees. A wide open space characterized by the buzzing sound of the bees. Live alone. So this oneness with nature is only possible in solitude. In a crowd, it is not possible. You cannot be creative. You cannot feel nature if you are in a crowd. You need to go out. You need to travel alone in order to realize, interiorize the beauty of nature, to perceive the calmness, the serenity of nature. You need to be alone. You need to be in a solitary existence. So it is as well a spiritual journey for William Butler Yeats. If you know, Yeats is the composer of the preface of Gitanjali by Tagore. Okay, he's also a Nobel Prize winner. So this man, this poem is not only an effort to be one with nature, to escape to nature. It is a meditative poem. It is a meditative poem where the poet is embarking on a spiritual journey, because he believes that nature has a spiritual connection. Nature is connected with spirituality. For him, nature and spirituality are intricately intertwined. So when he wants to succumb to nature, he wants to embark on a spiritual journey. He wants to become one with the spiritual journey as well. And I shall have some peace. For peace comes dropping slow. So he is not saying, I want some rice, I want some money. He's saying, I want some peace. So he is not happy. He is not contented with this busy life in the city, this technically advanced modern life in the city. He wants to commute with nature. He wants to become one with nature. And he inspires his readers to feel the oneness with nature. He wants his readers to understand that this busy life in the city is not what we should hanker after. We should rather try to cooperate with nature. We should try to believe in an existence that is almost connected to nature, that is not far away from nature, that is intertwined with nature. He wants the symphony of nature to always be there in his own life. He wants to hear the symphony of nature. He inspires his readers as well to believe in the symphony of nature, to not get carried away by the flow of the modern, technically advanced lifestyle. Dropping from the vales of the morning to where the cricket sings. So see, a bounty of natural landscape. The morning, it is enveloped by the veil. Here, veil is a metaphor for cloud. So the sky is covered with a blanket of cloud. Just a second. Okay, and this signifies that the morning is almost covered with a veil. What is a veil? A shroud with which you cover your face. In Bengali, we call it ghomta, obogunthon. So the face is covered with the veil. Here the morning is covered with a veil of cloud. So you can only see this in a landscape, in a natural landscape which is far from the busy city. where the cricket, who is the cricket? Jhijipoka. So the melodious buzzing, the melodious humming of the cricket, okay? Their midnight is all a glimmer. So the light is flickering, okay? The light is flickering on the island, and midnight seems like a glimmer or a shine, a glitter, a glow. And in the afternoon, it is almost a purple glow. The sky is tinged with a purple hue. The sky is tinted with a purple color, a purple glow, a purple glimmer. An evening full of linnets swing. So the fluttering of the small linnets, linnet is a kind of bird, the fluttering of the wings of the linnet, the evening is full of the linnet's wings, the sound of the fluttering of the linnet's wings. I am carried back to a poem called Heart by Jotindranath Sengupta. It also in Bengali. It also had this similar kind of imagery. You can almost visualize. But this glow, purple glow, the midnight is a glimmer. All this render a supernatural, dreamy ambience to the poem. It is not only a poem which seeks oneness with nature, but it also embarks on a spiritual journey. The poet is also embarking on a spiritual journey. Nature and spirituality are getting connected. This purple glow, the supernatural connection you have to understand, the ethereal connection, the purple glow, the midnight glimmer, all this render a supernatural, ethereal ambience to the poem. I will arise and go now. Again, the line, the quotation from Bible. I will arise, I will leave this city life. I will leave this busy city life which is modern, which is technically advanced, and I will go and surrender myself to the lap of nature, to the embrace of nature. For always night and day. Why night and day? Night and day have a spiritual kinship with the soul. So throughout my day, throughout my existence, night and day, Divasho Rajoni, night and day, I hear lake water lapping with low sound on the shore. Cholat cholat se shabdo, lapping sound of the river. As the river water gently fall on the shore, it creates the lapping sound, which in Bengali we call cholat cholat, that word. It is an onomatopoeia, a sound word. While I stand on the roadway or on the pavement grey, roadway, pavement, both characterize the urban life. Okay, the city life. Why grey? The word grey, the color grey, signifies the bleak, dreary existence of the city, on contrast to the greeny, watery landscape of nature or at Innisfree. It is so wonderful, it is so beautiful, splendid, marvelous, beautiful. And here we have the bleak, dreary, mundane city life, characterized by busy schedule and also what? Technical advancement, speedy, hectic schedule and technical advancement, modern lifestyle, but completely estranged, alienated from nature. But the poet here envisages a cooperative existence with nature. So he wants to become one with nature, and through this he wants to realize spirituality. He wants to perceive spirituality. So as he stands on the pavement of the city, I hear it in the deep heart score. Deep heart score. So he can hear the sound, the lapping sound of the water falling on the shore in the deep core of his heart, in the deep abyss, ABYSS of his heart. He can hear the lapping sound of the waves, of the ripples of river falling on the shore. Wave is more associated with sea. The ripples of the river falling on the shore, splashing on the shore. He can hear the lapping sound. So it is a journey of the poet to become one with nature, to escape from the madding crowd of the city and surrender to nature. And also, it is a spiritual journey for the poet. The poem is a meditative labor to become one with nature. It is a meditative labor to feel spirituality as well. So the poet does not want to restrict himself to the city life. He inspires the reader to understand that in order to be happy, in order to seek peace, the word peace is coming back again and again in the poem. We want to understand the beauty of nature. We want to lead a life close to nature. We should not spend a life in the busy schedule of city, in the busy, hectic, concrete cage of the city. The concrete cage of city cannot offer you peace. It is only nature who can give you peace. That is what the poet is trying to make his readers understand. He's trying to inspire the readers to live a life close to nature, to live a life in the heart of nature, in the lap of nature. Significantly, the Lake Isle at Innisfree, the last part of Innisfree is free. So free, he wants to be free. He does not want to confine himself to the concrete wall of city. He wants to lead a free existence at Innisfree, a beautiful island in Ireland, in County Sligo. I hope you have understood the poem. As I told you, cloud is a metaphor in this poem, and other things. Morning is being personified in this poem, and veil is a metaphor used for cloud, and morning has been personified. But the alliteration which are there in the poem, I would inspire you to find them out and drop them in the drop box. Thank you. If you have any query, please feel free to ask. And happy Eid Mubarak to all of you.